I think that's a big question, right? I think everybody is asking that question: how will AI impact HR going forward from here on, not just in 2024? I think, to be honest, I think automation isn't new to HR. I think there were several use cases that, were early adopters of automation back in the day when, everybody was sort of dabbling with automation as such, more rule-based at the, historically. But today, I think there's a lot of potential to, to look at several cases. So I'm going to take the example of recruitment, because one of the early cases of automation, right? I think we're talking about how skills are adding value, and how it should be skills focused hiring, skills-based profile screening. So I think there's a lot to do with using Gen AI capabilities to be able to create this pool of resources, both external and internal, and to navigate through that. And we're looking at critical skills. I think the adoption of Gen AI within these areas can really affect the speed and quality of navigating through talent pools, and especially for larger organizations, it can be really helpful as well. That was one immediate use case that came to my mind. What do you think, Stacey?
I think that's one great example of using AI at scale is the skills scenario. I think, AI is obviously everywhere right now, and as we look at 2024, I think it's a question, is it in HR's budget in 2024? So, there are some great use cases, as Tanvi mentioned, that they're using it today. So whether it's HR inquiries, benefit inquiries, chat, candidate pre-screening, writing job descriptions. I mean, there are numerous ways that organizations are actively doing in leveraging AI today. And then there's others that maybe haven't yet dipped their toe in it, and they're saying, my HR tech isn't necessarily even working really well for me right now. Maybe I need to start with the fundamentals first. So we definitely see a continuum. I think, there are some great examples in the market. I think organizations, regardless of where they sit on that, can certainly start, with some pilot examples. They could start with a couple of key use cases. And I think importantly, they could start with getting their data in a good place, because that's really foundational to all of it. So I think there's some real tangible steps, whether or not organizations are ready to jump into something more significant or not at this stage, but ways that they could at least move forward. And I think certainly from surveys we've seen, HR leaders feel like they need to do something in the next 12 to 24 months. Otherwise, they will be behind. And I think we're seeing from a tech perspective, all of the leading HCM providers are building generative AI into the technologies. So it's certainly going to be a focus. HR leaders feel they need to do something. How much they're able to really jump in 2024, I think is the question. But there are ways to get started.